I'm your Mississippi Madman Logan Creed. You are?
I'm Nate Moss and Grayson Echoes.
There you go. All right, well, this is Life in Headlock. If you've heard the saying before, I do not edit this show, or Pepperjack does not edit this show. He's my alter ego that stayed at home today. So if you screw up, it does go to YouTube, so congratulations. But let's see what you got. Again, this is Life in a Headlock, and your first question is, who trained you to be a pro wrestler?
I was talking to my buddy, Zach Daniels, who had connections with Lucas Frost, and I talked to Lucas Frost, and he was the one that trained me to become a professional wrestler.
Sweet. Well, how hard are you still training?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know if you were or not. All right, well, how hard was your training, and was there anything you had problems learning in the process?
The biggest part for me about the training to be a wrestler was all the push-ups, sit-ups, squats, you know, the physical part of it. But I can't think of anything in particular that was really. I think maybe promos were a little weird for me.
These make you nervous?
Oh no.
Okay.
But,
I've seen something.
I would say promos were maybe a little tough, you know, because I've always had problems with coming up with stuff off the top of my head, and so, you know, getting a microphone in the ring with somebody was always awkward, and you know, I was just thinking like, oh, don't screw up, you know, try to come up with something.
Yeah, it is a little more difficult because you got to be quick, you got to be fast. All right, well, let's see. Who inspired you to get into pro wrestling? Was it a family member, a wrestler, or what?
I grew up basically with my mom and grandparents, and I would always sit down with my grandpa, and we would watch, you know, WCW, WWF, you know, everything. And he was the one that really hooked me onto it. But yeah, I'm one of those. I can't give you a particular instance where I was watching and I was like, you know, this match made me want to be a wrestler, you know, this wrestler. But it always, I don't know, I was watching, I was like, you know, it always entertained me. Like, it always, you know, kept my focus. It always gave me something to do with my grandpa. And, you know, after he died, I was just kind of like, oh, well, you know, I'm just going to leave it alone for a little bit. But then one of my best friends, you know, in school, I was wearing a wrestling shirt in gym, and he was like, hey, you like wrestling? I was like, yeah, man, I do. And so that's when it fully started to kick in. And I think one of the first wrestlers I can really think of was maybe CM Punk. I watched, you know, loved everything about him, what he stood for, his in-ring style, everything. And he's one I would say really, first of all, you know, whenever I got back into wrestling, really like hooked me and really made me want to become a wrestler.
How did you get your wrestling name? Or is that your God-given name, which you already told me it wasn't, so how'd you get your wrestling name?
Grayson Echoes, I don't know, I was just throwing stuff around, and I've always, especially, you know, I like comic books. I love to read comic books.
Logan Creed, you'd never figure that out.
and mine was like, I don't know, I've always liked the name Grayson. I would think of Robin, you know, Dick Grayson. Grayson's a pretty cool name, so I was like, I'll use Grayson as a first name, and I can't really tell you where the Echoes came from. Honestly, I was just like throwing some words around, you know, mixing it with the name. I was like, Grayson Echoes. You know, it's got a nice little ring to it. I'll use that one. So.
Sweet. All right. Well, what was your first match, and tell me about it?
My first match was against Mr. Sakatumi, and you know, it was in Pedal. It was at one of the wrestling school I was training at, and it was my first match, and you know, I was just so nervous. You know, family, my brother, cousins, aunts, my parents were there, my girlfriend at the time was, and it's just, I don't know, I was so nervous, and I didn't want to screw up. I didn't want to make a fool of myself or, you know, mess anything up, and so I was just, I was freaking out before the bell. Like, my legs were shaking so bad behind the curtain. Then when I came out of the curtain, I was like, okay, this isn't so bad. And then when I got in the ring, I took a step and my legs were like jello. And so I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. But, you know, circling around the ring a couple times, you know.
You get that adrenaline going?
Oh, yeah, the adrenaline came in. I caught my footing, and it just, you know, it was, you know.
Well, how'd the match go for the first match? You know what I mean?
It was pretty good. I had a lot of fun. I feel like I did pretty well, and it's one match I am proud of.
Let me ask you this: was it win, lose, or draw?
It was a win.
Really? Damn! What a start. Cool. I was looking up the lights. All right. Well, what is the favorite match you've been in so far?
My favorite match so far is probably I actually wrestled Lucas for a company called SWA Promotions, and that was a company ran by Steve Starr, and it was in Richton, and I've never really worked for us like one-on-one, tag together and everything, but we worked each other at this show, and it was one of my favorite matches, and the crowd was into it. Me and Frost were really happy about it. We feel like we did really great when a lot of people were telling match of the night, which is really good for me to hear, but I can't take all the credit for that one. So.
Well, let's see. Give me a wrestling story. Funny, sad, your option.
Man.
You got thunder down the bus, just something happened.
Oh, I can't really think of. There's so many, and I'm just having trouble just coming up with one off the top of my head. I don't know. I feel like there's one that's gonna be coming.
I'll come back to it. All right. Well, tell me what you think of TV wrestling, the good of it and the bad of it. I'm not talking about any particular company. I just mean TV wrestling in general.
I don't know. I really love watching indie guys work. The indie guys that have come up through, said company.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed watching all of them work. And I think the wrestling's starting to pick up. People might agree, people might disagree, but I feel like the wrestling is really starting to pick up. Just too much talking. And again, people may agree or disagree with me on that one, but me personally, I think the wrestling is starting to pick up. You're starting to see, better matches, just fans are interested in the characters as well. Fans are really interested in the characters now. But I just feel like, there's too much time spent talking. I understand, building up a match and all this and that, but, it's just, I want to see more wrestling than I do talking.
There's a few set guys to me like Kevin Owens that can walk out there and talk, and I don't care if he's talking, you know what I mean, because he's so entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
The Miz bores the hell out of me.
Yeah.
So.
I really enjoy watching Kevin Owens work. Guys like him, Sami Zayn, then most of the NXT guys, AJ,
Cesaro.
Yeah, Cesaro. He won NXT, but I enjoy watching AJ Styles tremendously.
True.
Just really enjoy watching him work.
Cool. All right. Let's see. Here's a little kind of out there question, but if you could wrestle one wrestler from any time, any company, anywhere, who would you wrestle?
It's a toss-up between maybe Ricky Steamboat or Randy Savage. I'd love to wrestle one of those guys. It'd be, you definitely, learn a lot, and it just, it'd be a good match because, those are two guys that could always put on a tremendous match. So it's, those are two guys that'd be really fun to get in the ring with. But guys nowadays, Kevin Owens would be one, AJ Styles would be one, Cesaro would be one, Sami Zayn, just guys like that nowadays would, I think, would be really fun.
Cool. Well, let me ask you, so far, where is the oddest place you have ever wrestled? You got one?
I don't know, there was one, it was Southern Geek Fest in Hattiesburg, which that wasn't really odd, but it was, it was really cool wrestling something like that.
Just Comic-Con type thing?
And it was in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and it was just, like I said, it wasn't really odd, but I mean, it was like the booths all here and the wrestling ring set all the way over here. And, and like people would like come by, walk by and watch the match. And I can't really think of another really odd place I've wrestled at.
So what I like about that is like you introduce wrestling to people that probably don't watch wrestling. You know what I mean? So that's a positive, you know.
Because they'll hear the bumping of the ring, you know, the fans getting into it. You know, you can't help but look over. You know, that's not something you can be like, oh well, you know, this loud bang here and there. You know, people screaming and you know getting hurt. But I can't look at that. You know, you're gonna just turn and you're gonna look at it. So, you know, that was really fun because it's, you know, people, like you said, like that haven't watched it, but they'll get a glimpse of it at least. So
that's cool because to me, indie wrestling turns more people to fans than TV wrestling does. All right. Well, what is your favorite kind of wrestling to watch? Strong style, lucha, southern? What you got?
I really like Southern wrestling, you know, old school, but I think that's because that's kind of like what I was brought into. That's the kind of style I learned, and you know, it's just you know, I really love movies and acting and stuff like that. So storytelling is always, you know, something, you know, that I love to see, and you know, so old school I love. Strong style I also love to see too. You know, it's just I guess how much you know somebody can take of that, you know.
Beating, bro.
Yeah, strong style and probably old school, probably two of my favorites that I like to watch.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, you as yourself, would you rather show your good guy persona or your bad guy persona? What do you prefer?
You mean outside of the ring?
No, inside the ring. What do you prefer to do as a job?
I love being a bad guy, you know, because I'm, you know, I don't have. You know, I'm generally a nice guy. You know, I don't feel like I'm a jerk to anybody, you know, so much. So whenever I can, you know, because we all have like that built-up frustration that we have, built-up anger, and you know, here is a place you can let it all out and you won't get in trouble for it. You know.
Yeah, I might get in trouble at my job. You know, I don't know about you, but
yeah. But being a bad guy, I love being a bad guy.
All right. Now, do you prefer to wrestle as a singles wrestler or a tag wrestler?
I really like both of them, but I think I guess it's really with me. Each one is who you're working with. You know, it's like I can't really choose one, but it's really who you're working with.
Because I've tagged with some guys, I'm like, God, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Then I tagged with one guy, I'm like, and I tagged for years, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But the other guys, I'm like, God, this is just bad.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing, kind of? You know,
Oh,
okay, gotcha. Well, what is the name of the movie you use to put most of your people away, and what do you call it?
I've recently just started, I like the Koji Clutch. You know, I really want to start incorporating that more because I just love that move. There's just something about it, you know, because I've never really used a submission, and you know, I've always loved seeing the different kinds of submissions, and the Koji Clutch to me is a submission move that's unique. You don't see it a lot, and it, you know, it can come out of nowhere.
I only know like 2 people right off the bat that I can think of that even use it.
And you know, you know, I saw CM Punk use it, and I saw Sami Zayn use it, and you know, it's just those are 2 guys I enjoy watching. So it's, you know, that again, it's like, you know, they make it look really, really good, and you know, it's not. I can only think of those 2 guys that use it. And another one is a knee off the top rope. You know, come down knee to the face.
You would have to talk about knees, wouldn't you?
Oh my God.
Cool, man, cool. All right, well, this is the last question, but who's been there for you in professional wrestling? If you'd like to thank them, here's your opportunity on a personal level.
Definitely, you know, well, I mean, you know, my parents have been really, you know, encouraging. You know, it's not something they were like, oh, you know, you need to stop this now. You know, they're just worried about me getting hurt. That's really all it is. They know I enjoy doing it. They know my grandpa got me into it. And so it's just something, they know I enjoy doing it, so they don't mind it at all. And, you know, Lucas Frost is a guy, you know, who has been there. You know, he helped me, you know, he helped train me. I've tagged with him. You know, we've driven the roads together, so he's a guy that, you know, I always, you know, I appreciate everything he's done for me. Like Reggie Matthews is another guy. And, you know, those are guys that just, just like Power Slam Productions, some guys, guys from there. They just always helped me. That's the first company I really broke into, and I got to thank the guys from that because they've always, they gave me a place to start working. And then Frost is the one who got introduced me to Ego, and a couple other companies too. And Power Slam, I just got to thank the guys from that.
Well, brother, I appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you get a little further down the road, I'll hit you again because Lucas is begging me for a part 2 from him already.
Yeah, he's talked to me about it.
All right, bro. You take it easy. Be good in your match tonight.